and welcome back to Justin Talks Villa. And this, I'm very pleased to say, is my first non-player or manager interview. And I'm very pleased that it is fantastic artist Sue Verity. Thanks so much for having me here to talk to you about, well, this as well as your career, your art. It's fantastic. I literally want this bar. I want it. Well, bar/studio, because it is brilliant. I could live in here. I bet you do. Yeah. I mean, it's a lovely place to escape to, isn't it? You know,
it is.
I bet it's very
really peaceful and
conducive to helping you with your art as well.
Yeah.
Right, Villa fan, obviously.
Massive,
as you can tell. How did you become a Villa fan?
I was took to my first game when I was about 12 years old by a friend of mine's dad, and we went to the Holt End, and it's ongoing ever since then.
Yeah.
Season ticket holder, you know, and I just love going to Villa Park.
Once you go you're hooked, aren't you? Once you see that
addictive.
pitch, that noise, the stadium, it is. Once it gets you, that's it.
It's like being part of this massive Villa family, isn't it?
That's what it is. Yeah, it is. It's lovely. I often say that when I'm on the pod, or when I'm talking to people, the football's brilliant, but the camaraderie and the friendships that you build, not only the people that you sit around that you see every game, but the people you interact with and become friends with. You know, we've got mutual friends now that and we talk as well, and it's lovely. It's lovely to be involved with Villa. So can you remember your first sort of Villa memory?
It was that day I went to the Holt End. It always sticks in my head, you know, of going there and not knowing what to expect. Thinking it was a bit scary because everything was so massive, you know, so many people and stuff.
Do you remember if we won?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we did win. Of course we won. Yeah, we always win. It's not me. I'm always positive.
Always win.
So, have you enjoyed this season? Obviously, you know.
It's been incredible. Some of the best football with this team I've ever seen, and because I've met most of the lads, you know, it's even more special because I watch them go out. You know, I've stood on that pitch, and believe you me, it's intimidating.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it. Just come out and play, you know, because from the pitch, standing on that pitch, it looks huge, you know, and I admire them every week going out there and, you know, the Forest game. Oh, my goodness me.
Yeah, it's the atmosphere, especially recently, it's ramped up again, hasn't it? Because we're coming towards the end now and there's so much to play for still. And that you know, the PSG game, the Newcastle game.
Robbed at PSG game.
Yes, robbed at PSG, yes. So we are here to talk about art as well as Aston Villa. It's, you know, subject, I love art. We were talking before we started about Portrait Artist of the Year, which I believe you've been on, haven't you?
I went on Landscape
Artist of the Year, yeah.
With Portrait Artist, my paintings take weeks to do.
Yeah.
So I'd struggle a bit with that, to be fair. But I went on as a wild card for Landscape Artist of the Year, which is a really good experience.
I need to go back and find that episode and have a look for it.
You'll see me trudging along with all my stuff.
Is that when there's like 100 or 200 people and they're just
trudging along
with
all their stuff?
And then they walk round and pick one?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah. I'll definitely look out for that one.
Yeah, just wanted to do it as an experience, really. I'm always up for new experiences. You know, it's hence getting involved with the Villa boys. Yeah. And, you know, I've painted a lot of them. Can you imagine this? I painted John McGinn, Jack Grealish, Dean Smith, Tyrone Mings, and I went to get these paintings signed, and all four of them were walking towards me in this corridor.
Isn't it?
And I was just thinking, oh my Lord.
It's a long way around to get to meet all the players, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know, they're so lovely, and they love their pictures, you know, and I get told off by certain ones when I haven't done theirs.
Right,
you know,
okay.
So
they're getting a bit jealous, are they? The ones that have been done.
Yeah.
Well, you've got plenty to work on, haven't you? There's a big squad now, so you've got loads to work through. Yeah. I just hope your John McGinn painting, I haven't seen that one, is him in the chicken suit. No, I'd love it to be him in the chicken suit. You'd have to do him in the chicken suit with them glasses and the hat.
Well, John says I need to paint a new one of him because he wants one with the captain's armband, because I painted him before where he hadn't got the captain's armband. So we're going to do that.
We need to get him to get his money out and say, right, do me, or give me another one.
Oh yeah, I need them to buy their paintings.
That's it, yeah.
That's what I need.
So how did you get into art in the first place? I mean, it's obviously something you're very talented at. So at a young age, did you realise you were?
Yeah, when I was younger, my dad used to, in my bedroom, just paint. But he used to paper one wall with lining paper.
Okay.
And I used to paint murals on them in my bedrooms. So I started, quite young, but I was probably about 10 when I started painting these murals on the walls.
Were your parents artists?
No.
So where did that inspiration? Just natural talent.
Yeah, I like, I'm very musical. I love the theatre. I've got that way about me. Don't ask me a maths question because I've not got anything in that side of my brain. But yeah, I used to paint all the time, and then I was going to stay on at school and do art and photography, and then I got offered an apprenticeship to do hairdressing. Oh. And my dad said, if you learn a trade, you'll never be skinned.
My daughter's a hairdresser, and I said exactly the same word to her.
So, 20 years later, after doing a hairdressing career, I worked for Tony and Guy, and I used to do makeup and things like that.
You get on well with Luke. Luke worked for Tony and Guy. Oh. Yeah. Doesn't anymore. He does podcasting, but yeah.
Well, it was good fun at the time, but I ended up having a disc out on my back. It just wrecked my back. So I thought, I've got to do something else. So I went back to art college.
Oh, okay.
I applied for art college, went to art college, did a couple of years there, got qualifications and won an award at the end of it. So
you thought,
from that,
up.
I started doing murals. When I left the hairdressing and started doing these murals in schools and all sorts of places, hospitals.
Not big ones.
Yeah, hospitals, playgrounds. And then I painted a picture of Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right.
Took it to a gallery and they said, have you got any more of these? These are amazing. And I said, I can get some more of them. So I ended up doing my first Legends collection and they held an exhibition for me. And
what was that based around? That was film, was it?
Yeah, mainly film, that one. And I sold most of them. So it started from there with the... And
that's the light bulb moment.
Yeah.
Not only do I enjoy doing it, but I could also make it a career as well.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how it started, really.
So what do they say? If you find a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
And that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm hoping that this will be mine.
Yeah, he's good.
Well, I'm trying. So who were your inspirations then?
Obviously Andy Warhol, people can see an instant,
I wrote Andy Warhol down, so I'm pleased with that.
Is he the only one you know?
Well, I try to. I do enjoy art. When myself and my wife are out and about, if we see a gallery, we do like to go in and have a look round because it's so subjective, isn't it? Art.
Yes.
Things that you like, other people don't. So, but your style, I really like it. I really resonate with it. I think it's, again, I wrote down pop art with a modern twist of realism.
Exactly
Is that
right.
fair?
I call it, contemporary portraiture.
Yes.
That's how I look on it.
Which is my favourite. As we spoke about, I watched Portrait Artists of the Year, and I watched some of them, and I understand modern art can be very divisive, and I think I like the realism element, but like your style is just. It just pops out off the print, doesn't it? Off the canvas.
I like
amazing.
to bring them to life.
And that's what it is, isn't
eyes, it? And people say to me,
what do they say? Eyes and hands are hard to do.
They are really hard. Yeah. But if you can get that character in those eyes, that's when you make that picture, that person starts to come to life.
Yeah.
And I form a relationship with the picture. When I have to say goodbye to my paintings, it's really difficult.
Say goodbye. They're like your children.
They really are.
I suppose you spend that much time creating them, that when you're finished, you got that attachment, haven't you, to them? So you think, ooh.
Yeah, it is. That's the bit that people sometimes don't understand with us artists, We're strange.
I never thought of that until you've said that.
We're strange, solitary creatures.
No, but I can understand it because you feel connected to your work, don't you? And it's such a labour of love. It's so time intensive as well. Yeah. That I suppose you've day after day after day coming in and looking at that one piece of art and creating it, and then when it's finished, you're so proud of it that I suppose you do feel a bit bad when it disappears and somebody else is looking at it every day.
It's like a loss for me. Especially on some of my, my villa ones.
Yes.
Tyrone Mingsley's one went, and I was like so upset because I love Ty, you know. But when I met the boss the other week,
we will go into all of these in a minute, but it's just
but
honestly.
I said to the boss, I know your face.
Yeah.
You know? And he went,
I've been staring at your face for
yeah,
months.
Yeah, and that's where you get that connection because you know that face.
Yeah.
So when you meet the person, you feel like you already know them. So you get
Strange sensation.
You get that relationship with the work. Do you know what I mean?
Fantastic. You also obviously cover other things. You don't just do Villan. I'll do a video after, and I'll show everybody what you part. But you Joker, Peaky Blinders, boxing.
Yeah, I've been really lucky. I've met some amazing people.
Who's your favourite person you've met outside of football? We'll come on to the Villa art specifically in a minute.
So difficult to say.
You was telling me you met JUDY DENCH recently?
Yeah, I went to JUDY.
That must have been incredible.
It was amazing. She invited me to her house.
So how did that come about? Then you obviously did the painting of her.
Yeah, it was through a friend of mine, Nigel Davey. He's a producer.
Okay.
He just done the film The Shamrock Spitfire. Don't know if anybody saw it on Sky.
Rings a bell, actually.
But he's friends with JUDY, and she sort of saw the picture. I painted her in Shakespearean costume.
Yes.
And she saw the picture and she says, come down. So we went down, spent a couple of hours with her in
her house?
Beautiful house. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We had a real good giggle. She's got a parrot who's hilarious, who shouts Boris Johnson.
Crocky.
But she was everything I thought she'd be. She was really, really everything I thought she'd be. And
what did she think of the painting?
she loved it, yeah. She really loved it. I also took her a painting of my Johnny Depp, a print of my Johnny Depp portrait, because she loves Johnny as much as I do.
Yeah.
So I took her a print down for her 90th birthday as well and gave her that. But she was amazing. And to hear her talking about, Serena McKellen and people like that, it's just, she's a legend.
You could have spent all day there, I suppose, couldn't you, talking to him?
But believe it or not, one of my favourites was Liam Gallagher.
Really? You met him, have you?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was amazing. He was so lovely. Don't believe all of it. Liam's not that nasty guy. No. He's lovely.
They generally aren't. They're a persona, aren't they, in front of the cameras? But
so handsome. Oh my goodness me.
Really?
Very, very, yeah. Can see why he gets in trouble.
We're both going to see Oasis, as we've decided. We chatted before and we're both going to see him. But Tyson Fury as well, he's signed his, hasn't he?
Yeah, I met Tyson. He was doing an evening with. So I met him and his dad and his entourage. And,
Crikey.
They're
characters, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh my goodness me. Tyson is huge.
Yeah.
But again, really nice fella.
Yeah.
Gave him and his dad a copy of his painting, a print, which they're really grateful for. But yeah, the other thing I'm more known for as well is working on the Peaky Blinders, because
I've seen a lot of your Peaky Blinders stuff, yeah.
And I won the BBC fan art competition with Arthur. I was the one from Birmingham, so they used it to produce posters all around the country. And if you go on the BBC Peaky website, you can buy items with that painting on.
Right.
BBC bought
I will say, if you go onto Sue's website, what is it? Sue Verity.
It's www.sueverityart.co.uk.
That's it. So if you go onto there, I've been on there the last few days, and all of Sue's art's on there. You can go and have a look at it. I will do a video and some pictures as well, and I'll put them over the top while we're talking about different things. But but there's one there, Sue. If you want to grab that, we'll sort of start going a little bit into Villa. But you actually did this, didn't you? Just tell everyone what this is.
Yeah, I did the cover in 2012 for the Acorns Day. And it was a representative painting of Villa supporting Acorns.
Yeah.
I cannot explain what the feeling was like to go around Villa Park and see my picture everywhere on posters,
amazing.
In people's hands.
That's there forever now as well, isn't it?
It was just incredible. But I have got the original painting from it, and it's signed by all the squad.
I will take a picture of it and I'll put it on now so people can see that.
Yeah, so I've still got that, which is now...
So was that your first Villa painting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was invited to do that. And at that time, I don't know if they've done it since, but at that time I was the only artist to have ever put a painting on the front of the Villa programme. So...
It's not bad, is it?
No. little bit of history
For a Villa
there.
fan as well.
Yeah.
So that was your first Villa painting. So did that give you the bug, and did you sort of think, oh, okay, I might do some Villa stuff?
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I looked into doing a few of the players, and I know some of the old players,
Yes.
you know, Gary Shaw, obviously, and Dennis Mortimer, and all of those. I know quite a few of those.
Yeah.
But at that time, I started to think more about doing some of the players.
Yes.
But the first ones that I did was the Mings, John McGinn.
Right.
Jack
That have been
Grealish.
this one here, the Tyrone one.
Yeah, it's the Simon Tyrone
Yeah.
one, that one. And the John McGinn ones all went because he's so popular.
He is a popular man, isn't he, John?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've got a real soft spot for John
I
McGinn.
think a lot of Villa fans have his, you know, since he signed. I mean, we didn't know a lot about him at the time, but he's sort of grown into folklore at Villa now, and he's
He's a legend.
You feel like he's always been there, and
Yeah.
he's such a bubbly, effervescent character. But he's so good, and at every level we've stepped up to, he's got better and better and better. And I think he's, you know, massively grown into the captaincy role at Villa, and he does definitely lead that team there.
Definitely does, and I love it when he, you know, when he's there and he's battling away.
Yeah.
And I love that in a footballer.
But he's
when
got
they
two sides of
battle
his
and
character, and he can, like on the pitch, he's like a bulldozer, and then off the pitch, you can have a laugh and a joke with you, which is great. But
Yeah.
your Dean Smith and your Jack Grealish one,
Yeah, when we got promoted.
fantastic.
But yeah, the first one I did was Jack when he was the captain.
Right, that is lovely.
Yeah, I really miss Jack. I wish he'd come back. I do. I've,
Yeah.
you know, known Jack quite a while, and his dad, and I just think he could still fit in. I think Unai could bring out the best in him.
I think the
again.
Villa fans are like split on him, aren't they?
Yeah,
Half
they
of them
are.
would have him back, half of them are okay,
Yeah.
we'll move on now.
Yeah.
It's a shame. But yeah, he was fantastic while he was here. One of the best Villa players I've ever seen in my lifetime. But going on to one of the, well, my 100% my favourite Aston Villa player of all time, your Paul McGrath is stunning. And he is my favourite Aston Villa player of all time.
Yeah, he's a legend.
And I think I messaged you a few months ago. I've got a tattoo on my arm, Villa,
Yeah.
and I'm having Paul McGrath added here. And if it's okay with
Yeah,
you,
yeah, brilliant.
I'm going to use your picture to have tattooed on my
Wow.
arm. How's that?
That's brilliant.
Because I've been looking and looking and looking for a picture of him that will sit on this. But now I've seen it in person. That's the one I want.
Can you ask Paul if he'll sign it for me?
Yeah, I'll have a word. Deck Pierce, I'll have a word with you. He can sort you out, yeah. So obviously you've been doing all these paintings, and you've alluded to it already. You go down to the training ground and
I'll get invited.
you meet them, and you get to come. And the one most recently, which I've seen on, if you follow Sue on X, you'll see the pictures. This absolutely incredible Unai Emery painting. You met him last week or the week before, was it? Or pretty
couple of
recently,
weeks
yeah,
ago,
yeah.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. When I sat in the reception and I could see him coming towards me, I'm not joking, my hand was shaking like that. And I just thought, wow, this is the boss, you know. But he literally walked through the door, and his face was beaming, smiling. So he put me at ease straight away, you know. And he came straight up to me, kissed me on both cheeks, and said, good morning, good morning.
And you haven't washed your face since?
No. But, yeah, he was saying, good morning, good morning. He was saying he'd seen the picture beforehand, which he had.
Oh, okay.
And he says, I love it, you know. And I'd got him a framed print of it to give to him, you know. And he was really grateful for that as well, you know. And he was kind enough to sign the original in a print for me. So, but
This room's insured.
Yeah,
And it's got a really good
It is.
security system, yeah.
Yeah. But what really made me laugh as well was when he left. Oh, one thing I did say to him, I said, Mr. Emery, do you know how loved you are?
Right. I'm glad you did, because I'd love to meet him just to tell him.
Yeah. I said, do you know how loved you are? And he goes, yes.
Brilliant.
And he says, and he was like this, you know. So he knows, but it really made me laugh when we were saying goodbye, because he kissed me again on both cheeks to say goodbye, as the Spaniards do.
Yes.
And then he went, Sue, and I went, what? And he went, up the Villa! And I thought,
brilliant.
amazing.
That's it.
Amazing, you know.
Well, life is done. Did you do the mic drop and walk off?
Oh, I just said it didn't get any better than
yeah,
that,
yeah,
really.
it doesn't, does it?
You know, when I do meet these people like Emery Martinez, you know, and I met Emery and I did his painting, and he's got this aura about him.
Do you know, I'll tell you a funny story. I've
great.
never met Emery Martinez. And I was at work last week in Sutton, and one of my members of staff, who's not a football fan, I was round the back washing up, and said to me, Justin, there's a man here. Everybody keeps stopping him and taking pictures of him. I said, you what? So I walked round. I looked. I said, that's Emery Martinez. So I dropped everything, grabbed my phone, and went up to him. I said, hi, Emery. A bit like you. I said, any chance of a picture? And he was lovely.
He is.
Really lovely. Yeah.
He's lovely.
Yeah.
But again, he turns into a different character, I think, when he goes onto the
game face. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But the size of his hands,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was just amazing, and I gave him a couple of prints of his painting, and I said to him, you know, if you don't want them, do what you want with them. And he goes, oh no, I'll have one, and my dad will have the other.
Oh,
so
lovely.
it's nice that it's
What
in the family.
That's lovely to think that all your artwork is hanging in these people's homes that, you know, they get to see every day.
Well, that's the thing, really upset me, but really made me proud as well. Dougie, when he left, I think people might know this, on his Instagram at Christmas, he put a picture of him and his girlfriend by the Christmas tree. And above the Christmas tree.
No.
What was that?
Really?
Yeah. And he put him, his Villa print that I'd given him. It was the only picture on this huge wall. It was the only picture that was above the Christmas tree, and I just could not believe it.
That's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah, couldn't
I bet when
believe
you
it.
started doing your art and went back to it, you couldn't have imagined that this was going to happen, could you?
Some of the people I've met, you know, it's still beyond belief for me. You know, sitting in JUDY DENCH's house the other week, and you know, meeting Sir Roger Moore, James Bond, and made me an honorary Bond girl. He did.
Oh, okay.
He said, "Don't you let anybody say anything else, darling. You're a
Honorary Bond girl."
But no, I've met some really wonderful people who have been so kind, you know, to me, and a lot of people who've supported me.
Yeah.
In trying to get me to different people and things like that, you know, and I'm forever grateful for
Yeah.
it.
It is, as I say, you know, I think your art is phenomenal. And I was chuffed when you said you'd come and have a chat with me, because this podcast is all about Villa and talking to people about Villa. And yes, I'm talking to players, managers, but I wanted to make sure it was all types of Villa fans, you know. So this, and I'm talking to somebody next week, I won't say yet, who is in a different industry, but he's a massive Villa fan. You know, and normal fans, I've got loads of those lined up as well, but I just haven't got the time to get round to everyone. But I will get round to everyone eventually, I promise. So
We'll have to have a group chat, won't we?
oh yeah, crikey, it's a nightmare, honestly. I don't know what I've started here. So we'll finish on a few quick fire questions, right? So just light-hearted. Who was your first Villa hero?
I've got to say Sean Teal. I met Sean Teal, you know, in the 90s when I was working at Stocks. And he was always such a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's got a lovely wife as well,
Yeah.
you know, Carol. And I've kept in touch with Don.
Oh, that's nice.
And I'll never forget Sean Teal scoring that goal. Do you remember?
Was that the League Cup? Was it the League Cup
I
game?
think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
And he just stood there and went...
That was it, yeah.
was
Blasted
amazing.
it.
Yeah.
So who's your current favourite Villa player? Now, this is a very loaded question, because we are surrounded by your artwork of all the Villa players.
Do you know, I'm going to have to say John McGinn.
John McGinn,
I've just got this soft spot for John McGinn.
You got this thing for John McGinn.
He's just a legend in my eyes, you know. As much as the other boys are great.
It's hard, isn't it? Because there's so many.
Skinny,
We're so lucky at the moment to have the squad we've got and the players we've got.
Yeah.
You know, in the past we've had one or two that have stood out and, you know, really connected with the fans. But you look at Onana now, who came in the summer and instantly got that connection with the fan base, you know, after the game doing all this. It's wonderful. But yeah, I think John McGinn is a lot of people's favourites.
But I must quickly say that I love Ty.
Okay. So John McGinn, Ty. Anyone else?
All of them, really.
All of them, yeah.
All of them.
Ollie Watkins,
Yeah,
Emery Martinez, the manager.
Yeah.
So who is your favourite manager since you've been watching the Villa? It's hard, I suppose, not to say the current one, isn't it, for everyone?
for excitement
Yeah.
and what he's done in the last couple of years, it's got to be the boss. It's got to be, because I feel like this is just the beginning.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
You know, he's so exciting. You know, and he's the one manager who, me and my other half Ian, we always say we trust in Emery. Whatever Emery says, that's fine. Even if we lose, I still think the team are learning from things that don't work out on the day. You know, so for me, don't ever let him go. He's got to stay.
No, I agree. Again, I think because we're in such heady times at the moment that, you know, my favourite player, Paul McGrath of all time, I loved Graham Taylor. And I think you sort of have this revisionist history of going back, looking back at people. And it's hard to say that a modern player is the best or a modern manager is the best. But I genuinely think there's a lot of players and the manager currently that will be counted as the best we've ever had. Emery Martinez, he's got to be the best goalkeeper we've ever had.
Yeah.
You know, Unai Emery will probably go down, especially if he can lift some silverware, as one of the, if not the best manager we've ever had.
I do think Bozzy was a good goalkeeper.
Yeah, I love Bozzy.
I used to know Mark, and
we've been very blessed with players,
hasn't
hasn't
we?
Kicks
there.
Yes, he was awful at distribution.
I used to say that to him all the time. What the hell?
He's a great shot stopper.
You're doing your goal kicks.
His distribution was terrible. Right, if you could go back and experience one game again that you was at, which one would you go back to? One that stands out.
I was expecting my son at the time, and we beat Man United at Wembley in the. I can't remember what.
Oh, the League Cup final, yeah. 94.
94.
No, yes, 94, yes, yeah.
Yeah, I had a great day that day, and I'd like to do that again.
Yeah, I was at that game as well. Yeah, we was the underdogs that day, wasn't we? And me.
It was amazing.
And we beat them. Yeah.
It was amazing.
That's a good one. That's a good one, yeah. And so, and the second question is on that sort of similar thing. A game you didn't go to, which game would you like to say transport back to and be in the stands for? I know there's an obvious one, yeah.
Because I know Dennis now, and I'd love to have seen him lift that cup.
Lift it.
You know, and the boys, I do know a lot of the boys, and I'd love to have been there to see that happen. They tell me stories about it, you know, and I said to Dennis, I can't even imagine what it felt like to lift that cup. And he goes, and I can't explain what it was like to lift that cup.
I suppose in the moment he didn't realise the enormity of it. I'm sure he knew how big the competition was at the time, but when you look at how much time's gone on since, it's incredible to think what they did, you know, how hard it was this season to get to where we got to. So it just shows that what an incredible achievement their team was to do that.
Yeah, so that's the one I wish I was at.
Okay. Your favourite Villa kit?
I like this one that Paul McGrath's wearing here.
Yeah.
I've got one of those shirts actually, and I just really like it. It is
an iconic kit, yeah. And I think at the time when it came out, with the corded neck, I think a lot of people didn't like it. But as you go on, I think it helps that Paul McGrath wore it, obviously, because he's one of the greats. Yeah. But it is very much an iconic kit. I think I sometimes wish, whenever the new kits come out every year, I wish that we would do something a little bit different like that. Just change it up. Yeah. There you go. You can design the next kit.
Oh my God,
there you go.
Amazing.
That's it. Get your pen and paper out and get design them, throw them to the club.
Well, I want to become an official Villa artist.
Okay.
That's my next challenge.
Aston Villa, official Villa artist.
I think Villa,
the work here is definitely speaking for itself.
Because we've got a new Villa shop.
Yes.
You know, and the Villa shop's great, but I think they need a little bit of something
some
special
artwork
in there.
Yeah.
Like an elite range of something.
Well, they don't do, like you say, they don't really, do they do prints and stuff? They do, I suppose.
But mainly photographs.
They're photographs, aren't they? Then enlarged and canvases.
Let's get some real art in there.
Right, okay. We'll start we'll start it now. Sue Verity for official Villa artist. Definitely.
Please, come on, my achievement in life.
That's it. So this is perfect dinner guests. So you've got a nice meal, you and 3 other Villa-related people. Who would you choose to join you for a meal?
Do you know what? Thinking about it, Gabby. I listen to Gabby on
TalkSport. Yeah.
I just think he's absolutely hilarious. I really do. So I'm going to pick back Gabby.
Okay, so fun element, Gabby.
And I'm going to pick Paul McGrath.
Yes, we'll take Paul McGrath.
The legend. And The boss.
What an evening that would be.
I'd love to see Gabby with him.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting combination, wouldn't it? Right, 2 more questions and then I'll leave you alone. So, this season, obviously, it's been incredible. We're coming towards the end now. Where do you think Villa can finish? Obviously, top 5 is European Cup.
Yeah.
We still hopefully can get that. Do you fancy we can?
I think we'll come in at 5.
5th. I said 5th at the start of the season, you know.
Yeah, 5th.
Okay.
I put a bet on we'd win the league.
Oh, did you?
I really did, because I thought, this team is amazing.
Crikey, I thought I was positive.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm always positive with the balls, even when we lose.
We'll get on great, Sue. We'll get on great.
Never ever boo your team off. That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree. My mindset has always been about the football. It doesn't matter who you're playing. On any given day, you can win that game, and I always think we can win every game.
Me too.
And I think, well, why be down before I go? If we lose, okay, we'll deal with it after. But why think negatively before the game? Yeah, just think positive. We can win this game today if we play well, and that's my mindset. Exactly. So it's very similar to you.
Give them your positive vibes.
Yeah, that's it.
What do they always say? Like Villa Park, the 11th man. Isn't
that's it, 12th man.
Sorry, 12th man.
Yeah. You're playing left wing now, Sue, are you?
Oh yeah. They keep saying to me on the stand, "You want to get on there?" So. Yeah. But no, the crowd and the positivity makes the players play so much better, and we know that from the what happens in Villa Park. I mean,
the PSG game was one of the most incredible.
Oh, and the Nottingham Forest game.
Yeah. Well, they're just rolling on and on and on. Yeah. Seems to be getting louder and louder and louder. Last question. We're recording this a couple of days before the semi-final of the FA Cup. In case you're watching this after.
Yeah, I am going.
Yes, I am going. Can we win the FA Cup?
Absolutely.
Will we win the FA Cup?
Absolutely.
We're winning the FA Cup. That's it then.
Yeah.
So we're finishing 5th and we're winning the FA Cup.
Yeah.
And Sue's going to become the Villa official artist.
Yeah. Please help me, guys.
It's going to be a great end to the season, isn't it then?
Thumbs up all round.
Yeah. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sue. Honestly, thank you so much for inviting me here today. It's been an absolute pleasure for me. I've seen your artwork on the website, so to go to the website and have a look. But to see it here and meet you personally, it's been really incredible to me, honestly.
My pleasure. You're welcome anytime.
Thank you very much. So subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment below, and I'll see you next time. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.